Hello, David Smith here from Film, Video and Virtual Reality online magazine, formerly Australian Video Camera magazine, and I'm just here to talk to you about the latest version of Restoration Suite 2 from Acon Digital. The new Restoration Suite 2 contains the same 4 modules as the previous version, number 1, and so we have Denoise 2, Dehum 2, Declick 2 and Declip 2. And these are all performing the same basic functions, but now with a little bit of extra finesse in how they achieve that. Denoise is designed to reduce background noise like wind noise, buzz, machinery noise, air conditioning, things like that. And the noise can be reduced automatically, or it can be done after sampling the noise. And in this new version, it's sampled in a different way. So you can now capture dynamic properties of the noise so that changes that fluctuate over time will be taken into account, and the noise will be reduced even if it's not constant, as in the past. Typically in the past you would go to your noise section where there's no other sound, just a section of audio track with just noise, and you'd take a static sample of that noise and use that as the material to be removed. In this new version, you can press a dynamic noise reduction button, and that then samples ahead, looking at the waveform and removing noise, even if the noise varies quite a bit. And I'll show you how that works in a moment. Dehum targets typically electrical kinds of noise, typically the 50 or 60 hertz buzz that you might get, but also electrical motor noise, things like that. And there's now a new button called the scan button, which lets you identify the exact frequency of that background noise and tune the software to remove it automatically, which is a great advance. The Declick engine has been revamped a bit, and so it's less liable to pick up fast transients in the signal that you might want to retain, particularly in music tracks. You don't want to be losing the sharp attacks and transients. And so this new algorithm allows you to remove clicks, but to retain the things you really want to keep in your music audio track. And Declip, once again, has an improved algorithm to help you restore recordings that have been clipped, typically having that little flat top to the waveform, which indicates that they've been overdriven when they were recorded. Now, I've opened up a file which is a peculiarly Australian sounding file, an audio file filmed on location in the bush near Melbourne, Australia. And what you can hear in the background is this incredibly loud chirping noise of cicadas making their shrill summertime chorus that Australians are very used to, and yet which make it very difficult to record audio. I've opened this in Acustica 7 Premium, which is my one of my favourite pieces of audio software, and I'll just let you listen to how this insect chorus sounds while our interviewee speaks over it.
Now this is where the original house, when they first came to London, was built. It was only built as a temporary house.
Now you can see that's an incredibly loud sound, and it gets even louder down here. As I turned the camera up towards the tree, you'll hear it.
Oh God!
Extraordinarily loud sound that comes through at over 100 decibels in real life, just on the verge of the pain threshold. So these insects are really making their mark. And what I want to show you is how this plugin, which of course is available in the plugin system here for VST3, all my Acon Digital plugins are here, Denoise 2, and this lets me adaptively adjust background noise. And I'm going to give it a serious test, but not within Acustica 7. I'm going to go to my video editing software, Vegas Pro from Magix, and I'll show you how that works as a plugin within my nonlinear editing system. When I was recording interviews earlier this week for a documentary I'm making, it turns out we were standing under a particular tree that was important to the story, but it was also full of cicadas. And here's the sound that they were making. I'll just play a sample of their actual sound. You can hear that's a very, very dominant sound. And so when our interviewee was speaking over the background sound, it sounded like this.
He got married in 1902.
And so that was not really usable as it was. So what I plan to do is go into the effects for this audio track, and I'll go to Acon Digital Denoise 2 and add that. And there's my window. Looks like this. And you'll notice now there's a new button beside the Learn button, which is Dynamic Profile. That's the important new addition, which lets you look ahead and look at the changing noise level over time and make appropriate adjustments, hopefully without affecting the main signal. So let's see what happens. I'll take a little sample of this noise by pressing the Learn button, and then so there's the Learn button. Now I'll press this power button, which enables the processing, and I'll set the dynamic profile for the noise print. I'll also select broadband noise, because that's what I think this noise is. We'll see how it works. And we'll do another Learn. And take that and press Dynamic Profile. And now we'll go back to the actual piece of audio, and we'll see what we get when I apply this.
Both of these buildings were removed when Thomas built his wooden house when he got married in 1902.
And the first thing you can notice is that the cicada noise is fairly dramatically reduced, which is great. I wonder if we can make it even better. Let's try this.
When he got married in 1902. But both of these buildings were removed when Thomas built his...
Now I can adjust the reduction a little bit more.
Both of these buildings were removed when Thomas built his wooden house when he got married in 1902. Both of these buildings were removed when Thomas built his wooden house when he got married in 1902.
Now that hasn't removed the cicada noise entirely, but if I turn off the... If you just listen to this bit here, that's after reduction and one pass, and then if I turn this off, it's back to... And if I turn it back on again, you can see the noise is down at about -33 here. And if I turn off the noise reduction, it's up to -15, up almost peaking at -12. And so it's made a massive difference in just one pass. Now that alone makes this software worth having, particularly when you consider what good value it is. The whole package of 4 modules in Restoration Suite 2 sells for just $150 Australian, which is phenomenal value given what it can do. Now I could spend more time on this particular cicada track and reduce the noise even more by doing a second or third pass, but I think I've made the point that we've gone right back from around -12 dB, right dropping way back to below -33 dB. So it's a huge difference in the in this extreme example of really quite dreadful background noise, thanks to our wonderful Australian summer cicadas. Recently I was filming a storm surge down on the southern coast of Victoria, Australia, and it was one of the strongest storm surges that's happened in several years. And I was filming on the sand, just getting shots of the waves, and I thought I'd use this as a serious test of a combination of wind and wave noise and see how well Restoration Suite's noise reduction can handle this. So here's a sample of the actual sound. So it's a combination of almost white noise from the wind and then the occasional pounding of waves. I'll go into my audio effects library in Vegas, and here's, where are we? Denoise 2, Acon Digital Denoise 2. And now we'll play a bit of this amazing noise. Okay, and now I need to learn this, so I go into my Learn button and press that, and now back to here. And now Vegas is learning the sound pattern there. Stop that. Now I press the Enable Processing, and I'll press Dynamic Profile, and we'll see what we get. And you can see immediately there's very little noise left. It's a bit like bubbling water. This is in the standard settings. I haven't done any tweaking yet, but it's vastly reduced. I'll let you see the difference. Here's the original. And now here's the filtered version. So you can see the effect without doing any fine adjustment at all is pretty amazing. I can adjust that reduction. I can take it right out, which is incredible. You can hear that now. If I go back to the beginning and I'll play the original, and now so just by adjusting the amount of reduction, I've completely lost that extraordinary wind noise. So it's gone from about minus 12 dB, minus 15 dB, right down to minus 50 dB. And so we're getting a totally clean signal, which is fantastic. So that's shown that we can seriously remove both the wind and wave noise, or by using just de-wind, we can actually remove just the wind but leave the wave noise, which is pretty incredible. So this just shows fairly clearly how easily it is possible using Denoise 2 to take a very extreme windy, wavy condition and get a reasonably good, clear interview out of that, under circumstances when you would normally not want to record at all. But given the nature of the circumstances where I was filming, I really wanted to get this story and the interview on location under the conditions of the extreme wind and wave action. So Denoise 2 works a treat, and as before, it's as good as it always was, only it's improved now by virtue of having the dynamic noise profile possibility, which allows you to adjust for noise which is not constant over time. Fantastic plugin. And just for added excitement, it's just been announced that Acon's Vibrate 2 has been announced as a nominee for the 35th Annual NAMM Technical Excellence and Creativity Awards, that is the Tech Awards, in the category of Outstanding Technical Achievement. Now, all I had to do was place my vote, and soon we'll see what the result of that is.